Okay, I'm getting ready to make me some dinner. I got a ribeye here. It's thawed out. And I got some fat. It's just basically beef suet is what they call it. It's just the fat that they trim off the edge of a steak or whatever they're making in the grocery store. You know, like they'll trim some of this off the edges here, but they don't take it all off. They leave some on because it's actually where all the flavor is. You'll see what I do with this in a minute. But this is what it starts with. I'll show you a little more as we get going. But tonight I'm having a steak and fat. You'll see. You'll be surprised. Okay, I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I got my steak. I'm getting ready to get that out of the bag. I got my air crisp set to get up preheated to 390 on air crisp. That's almost ready here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this plastic off of here. Take out my steak. Now if I was doing this frozen, it would just take a little longer in the air fryer, but it don't really take a lot longer. So I got that there. My steak's ready to go. As soon as that air fryer beeps, I'm going to put it in there. But what I'm going to start doing now, while I'm waiting to put this in the air fryer, is I'm going to chop up some of this beef fat. This is just like I showed you before. This is beef fat. You can buy it at the grocery store. It's like 50, for me, it's 50 cents a pound. Some butchers will give it to you for free. But I'm going to take out, this was about 3 pounds when I bought it. I already used about a pound. So I'm going to take out about, there, that's about another pound I just took out. Probably about a pound. I'll test it here in a second. But the air fryer just beeped, so let me show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take my steak and I'm going to lay it down. Close it, and I had it set for 20 minutes. I forgot to adjust it. Usually it's only going to take about 10 or 12. But in about 5 minutes, I'm going to open it and flip it over. But in the meantime, let me cut up some of this fat. I could have waited for you. Let me see if I put it on. I'll put this on here. I turn on my little scale. Put my little plate on here. I'll zero it out. Okay, now let's see how much fat this is. I think it's about a pound. I don't know. 1 pound, 2 ounces. Close enough. So 1 pound, 2 ounces is what I'm gonna. Well, I'm gonna put it back over here so I got room. 1 pound, 2 ounces. Okay. Now, get this out of the way. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, and you basically just cut it in little pieces like this. That's it, little pieces. Whoops. Cut it up. Cut this up in a little chunk. Maybe cut this in half. So they're all kind of like that. You see, some of these pieces have a little of the meat left on it still, which is good. But the fat is where it's at, man. You'll see. You'll be amazed in a minute when you see how this comes out. I'm just cutting it. The more fat, the better. But sometimes those little chunks of meat are pretty good in there. And what this tastes like when it's cooked, you're not gonna believe this, but it tastes like bacon, but not pork bacon. It tastes like beef bacon, because that's what beef bacon is fat and then the meat. And you don't really have to have all the meat, because I'm telling you, until you try this, you won't believe me. You'll think I'm nuts. And I did too. I thought people were nuts for doing it too. Back when I first tried it, I thought, I'm going to give it a try because, you know, I don't like wasting anything. And this fat you can get for nothing. And it's so, you know, the butchers would love it. A lot of them will give it away. Like I said, mine, I go to a Smith's here, which is basically a Kroger. And, you know, they like their fat, I guess, so they want to sell it, which I don't care. 50 cents a pound. I can get 10 pounds for $5. Little piece of bone there. Make sure you keep the bone out. If not, you gotta eat the bone. Oops, I lost a piece. Dead soldier on the ground. So now there, that. You see some of this bluing on there, probably from where they had the cow cut when they were marking it and stuff. That's okay. It ain't gonna hurt you. Plus, what you see, the way I'm gonna cook this, I don't care if it had bacteria all over it. It's going to be dead. plus your stomach, you're a carnivore. People are carnivores. Some people don't want to admit it, but as a carnivore, you're supposed to eat meat, and because our guts are strong enough to handle it. We can handle some spoilage. We got basically our stomach's acid, as long as you're not polluting it with plants and antacids and drinking those pH drinks that are supposedly lower your pH or raise your pH, which is ridiculous. That's when you start running into problems. But that's that. So now I'm gonna flip. I got my. You see, I'll turn this sideways so you can see it easier. If you can see that, I got about 16 minutes. So what I'm gonna do, as soon as that gets down to 15, I'm gonna flip that steak over. And it won't take a whole lot longer to do once I do that. But in the meantime, what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna put this in there in a minute. This, I just dump the fat in here. I'll spread it out a little bit so it's nice and, one layer roughly. It don't matter if it overlaps because I'm gonna be stirring it around as it goes. But this is ready. As soon as my steak comes out and I let it rest, this is going in the air fryer. I'm gonna cook it. Let it go. It only takes 10 minutes. Really don't take quite that, but I like to go about 10 minutes because you can make it as crispy as you want or soft as you want. I like to get it a kind of a, I guess brownish is the color. Tan maybe, I don't know. Somewhere around there, but that's where you want it. So I got this ready. I'm just going to set it on the stove. Throw this away. This over here. So, okay, it's almost 15 minutes. See, it's getting ready. Whoops. Yeah, I bumped it. It should start again. There you go. So it's 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to open this. As you can see, got the steak here. I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to close it. I'm going to go another 5 minutes till it gets down to the 10. Okay? So we like it at the 10. And then when I take it out, I'm going to plate it on a dinner plate here. And I'm going to eat it. That's what I do. Okay, so I'll be back. When that gets down to 10, I'll be back and let you see what's going on. Okay, I'm back. You can see it's almost got about 6 seconds left till it gets to 10. When it gets to 10, I'm going to open it and I'm going to take a 10. You can see, I don't know if you can see that, but if there was smell-o-vision, you'd be able to see what that puppy's doing right there. Let me set this right here. Okay, I'm gonna give it a quick temp check just to see where it's at inside. Yeah, see, it's about a little more done than I wanted. I could have went about 8 minutes, but say like there's 130, which is, on the edges it's a little hotter, obviously. But like right here in this part, it was about 127, 126. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull it because I don't want it to get too done. You see, you could flip this a couple times in there if you really wanted to, and make all the difference in the world. That's how it looks. But what I'm going to do now, let me see if I can get my glove on my hand here. I'm going to take this out of here. I could use that, but instead I'm going to do something I like to use this basket in there when I'm doing this next part. So what I'll do is I'll take these fats and I'll put it in here. It fits in there real, oops. And do all this with one hand. Okay, so see the fat is in there. I'm gonna salt that up real quick a little bit. Let me move this here so I can set this down. I'm gonna salt it a little. You don't have to, but I like salt on everything. So I salt a little bit. Now I'm gonna close it. And about every 2 or 3 minutes, I'm gonna stir that stuff around, because that's the fat in there. It's just fat. It ain't, it won't stick or nothing like that. But my steak is here. I'm gonna let it rest. But I forgot to salt it before I put it in. Usually I salt it before I put it in and cook it in there. But I'll just give it a quick salt in now, and then I'll let it rest. And then when I come back, I'll let that rest. When I come back, I'll show you when I stir this the first time, okay? Be right back. Okay, it just went down under 2 minutes, or 2 minutes ran by, so I'm gonna open this, and I'm just gonna, let me see if I can get this here. I'm just gonna jiggle this all around here, kind of flop it over. See, it's starting to render out a little bit, but it ain't there yet. It's the consistency now to what, like a lot of people's, when you eat a steak and you get some, well, it ain't quite there yet, it's almost there. But when people eat their steak, you know, if you get some fat on it, it starts getting soft, like this is getting soft. So I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna let it go a couple more minutes or so, and then I'll be back. Okay, coming up on 6 minutes. You see it's getting there, getting a little more, but I forgot, I usually turn this up a little higher of heat. I'm gonna see if I can kick it up a little higher. If you want it to crisp up good. So what I'm gonna do is close it. Let me see if it'll let me hear. Yeah, it does. Put it up to about 450. It's gonna get a lot hotter and start really sizzling here in a second. So I'll be back when I'm ready to stir it again. Okay, it's coming up on 2 more minutes. So let's give it a quick peek, and you notice I kicked it up to 450. Normally I start it higher, maybe 425, 450. So I ran it to 450 just to, because I forgot to put it up there that high. But anyways, I'll open this up again. Check these out a little more. Now that it's up hot, they're starting to get that little crispier look to them. This is kind of what it's like on your steak. When you're eating a steak and you got fat, it's kind of like this. We're gonna kick it up a notch, so this ain't where we want to stop. You could, but I don't stop there. I keep it going. I like to keep it real, okay? So here we go. Let's give it another couple minutes. Be right back. Okay, coming back up another 2 minutes. Let's open it up, see what she looks like. You can see, it's starting to get crispier. And when I'm done, I'll show you the weight difference, because a lot of this volume is reduced. It's not, the weight is reduced because a lot of the fat's burning off right now. The longer I cook it, the more this will dissolve. This will dissolve where all that's left is those little pieces of meat at one point is what'll be left. But I want to stop it before that, because the fat, it's so amazing how it tastes. You won't believe it till you try it. You gotta try it at least once. Anyways, I'll be back in a couple minutes. Let's see what it looks like then. Okay, it just stopped. It just turned off. Let's see what it looks. I think it looks pretty good. I was thinking about stopping it early and then pulling it out so it could, and giving it some more time, but I think this is gonna be perfect. You can see how these are like, I don't know, golden or whatever, but they're so good. Now what I'm gonna do here also, let me set this up, see if I can get a shot of this. I'm gonna put those in this bowl, but I'm gonna put this on the scale so you can see the difference. It was 1 pound 2 ounces when we started, and I'm gonna put this on, then I'm gonna zero it out. Okay, so now I'm gonna put these. You can see it's zeroed out. I'm gonna take this fat. I'm gonna scoop them up. I'm gonna put them in this bowl so I can eat them. And kind of weird doing this holding the camera at the same time, but it's all good. I don't know if you can see how this looks. This stuff is really good. I know a lot of people are thinking, oh man, that's fat, that ain't no good. Yeah, okay. We'll see. We will see. Okay, that's what looks. Got a couple little crispy pieces. See, some of you will like these pieces that get a little extra done. Some of you will. Anyways, now 6.9 ounces. So we lost almost 10 ounces. So it's half of what it was. Okay, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna get this ready to eat and I'll turn this back on. Okay, I'm getting ready to eat this now. I got my bowl of fat trimmings here. I'll show you. Like, see this little piece right here? I'm gonna eat this. I'll tell you, if this was beef bacon, that's exactly what it would taste like. But one other thing I want to show you, before I get too far here. In the bottom of this air fryer, I don't know if you can see, but this is, see all that fat? That's what rendered off of that fat. And there's little crispy bits in there and stuff that fell through the grate from the steak and everything. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this when I'm done eating here, and I'm gonna pour it into a jar through some cheesecloths. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna come out, it's gonna turn out like this. This is basically fat like that. Sometimes I'll just render down, 10 pounds of that fat to almost nothing. Then I strain it through some cheesecloth and pour it through in a funnel through some cheesecloth in a jar and just put it in the fridge, and it solids up. This is pure tallow. This is beef tallow. You can use it in your frying pan like you're gonna make some, if you wanna cook something. You can cook eggs, you can cook whatever you want in there. But I'm gonna cut this steak here and give it a try. So we'll see what it looks like inside here. Hopefully once I cut it, you'll be able to see how I cut it and see what it looks like here. Okay. You see that? Maybe I'll try to zoom in and give you a zoomed shot of this, but it looks pretty good to me. It's there and it's pretty juicy. Let's see if I can squish it a little in. See it juicy? I don't know. It's juicy though. You can see it's juicy. So let me try a bite. I'm not on the levelest surface here, but see if you can see this. There's a piece of steak. It's really good. Got my bowl of fat here. If I'm eating like a sirloin or deer meat or some kind of animal that's not very fatty, I'll make some of this and just eat it on the side. That way I know I'm getting my fat. I don't usually weigh anything. What I usually do is just eat by instinct. That way I don't worry about it, Sometimes I'll eat steak. If I'm still hungry, I'll cook another steak. Or some hamburgers, or I'll make about 12 eggs. But anyways, there's my dinner for tonight. And I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.